Before I even started school at Derryfield, I carried a backpack. I've carried backpacks since the first grade, jauntily bringing them from class to class, not worrying about what was inside, since it was never more than just a piece of paper or two. In third grade, I started having to carry my own pencils, listening to them jangle around loosely, hoping none would accidentally mark up my fresh-off-the-press textbook for Spanish class. That was my first textbook. It only weighed about 2 pounds. In sixth grade, my backpack got heavier. It filled overwhelmingly quickly, with notebooks, which only got heavier with every stroke of the pencil, it seemed. Every handout, every colored pencil, every drop of ink on the page, it got heavier. I had to get a pencil case to stop my pencils from marking up any pristine pieces of paper they might come across, because God forbid back then we let our pencils be free to write what they want. Sixth grade taught me that they needed to be confined. Throughout middle school, my backpack only weighed about 10 pounds. Then high school hit, and boy did it hit hard. My first time at a new school came with all the joys of preteen angst, all in an environment 3 times as big as I was used to. Naturally, I felt the need to be prepared, so I bought the biggest backpack I could find, all in black and white, and colored the front with a Sharpie. The coloring was pretty rough and disjointed, but it provided me with just the perfect illusion that my backpack could be something creative. I stuffed it with at least 5 binders more than were necessary for my freshman year and packed off for the bus stop. What I did not realize then was just how heavy a backpack could get. Between that and rowing, there were some days where I was so sore I almost couldn't get out of bed. The idea that I could ever not be sore again seemed like a far-off dream to me. Each time I picked up the backpack, it got heavier. Every class period, 6 a day, 5 days a week, it got just a little bit heavier. Never once lighter, even with how strong I was becoming from each and every rowing practice. It got so heavy that the straps began to chafe my arms. It got so heavy that my mom began to worry that one side of my shoulders was stronger than the other, because the difference was noticeable by the way I was standing. It got so heavy that there were days where I almost threw it into the ravine so I never had to pick it back up again. But even so, I kept on walking. With tired legs and a tired mind, I was too overwhelmed to care. The backpack weighed 25.3 pounds. I weighed it. This backpack didn't simply represent a physical weight for me my freshman year. It represented the sheer overwhelming nature of my stress, my homework, my knowledge, my social life, and every single massive project that was assigned. And no matter how much I wanted to, I knew I could never simply let go. I could not give up, and I kept on with the haul. Then came the long-desired day, the first day of summer, that I didn't have to pick up my backpack once. It could just sit on the floor, scuffed, damaged, and dirty, but peaceful. It sat there like that all summer, until I once again had to pick it up, but only to move it downstairs to the basement, as it had been newly replaced by a different backpack. This backpack came from the same company, was the same shape, made out of the same material, but what was different was that it got lighter. It was the same weight, but it got lighter. Sophomore year brought with it a new sense of maturity and a sense of place. I could finally figure out how to schedule everything, from homework to outside of school activities to rowing. I got to know my teachers on a more personal level, like Mr. Bradley, who I bonded with over the Kodama and Princess Mononoke, or Senorita Lucidian, who was my advisor, my Spanish teacher, and soon to be my rowing coach, so she basically couldn't get rid of me. With this new sense of place and connection to the Derryfield community, I could stop worrying about everything and just simply worry about things one at a time. And once I figured out this new practice, it was as if my backpack weighed less and less each and every day. Whether it was a physical improvement from rowing or all in my head, I was thankful. All it took was a little bit more confidence that I could carry this weight, and from there on out, it only got better. My junior year came with some of the toughest classes I've ever had in my whole high school career. From AP Chem to honors physics, I thought there was no way I could possibly get through all my work without losing it. But that same feeling of connection, a sense that there are people who want to help you do well, or at least console you because they have to write the same 10-page lab as you do, is indispensable. Our backpacks might be full of some of the most puzzling, bizarre, or seemingly impossible work, but at Derryfield there was always someone there to help you carry it, and that's something I think is really special. I sit here now writing this my senior year, next to my 4th and final backpack of my high school career. It's probably much heavier than any I've had in the past, but I swing it over my shoulder, back and forth to school each day, up and down stairs like it's no problem at all. I'm thankful to my backpack for showing me just how much my life has changed from then to now. since without it, I never would have been able to remind myself that no matter how weighty the world seems to get, all it takes is a little shift in mindset and you can hold the weight of the world on your shoulders. And no matter how dark or overwhelming the world may seem, it always gets better. Forgive the pun, but that backpack really has my back. Thank you.